Hi, I'm Jake. I'm 32 now, but when I was 8 years old, my dad walked out the door one Tuesday morning and never came back. Just vanished. Left my mom with 2 jobs and me wondering what I did wrong for about 15 years until I finally stopped caring. So when I got the call about his funeral 3 years ago, I didn't even consider going. My mom asked me once, "Jake, are you sure? You might regret it later," she said over the phone, her voice careful. Mom, I regret wasting emotional energy on him when I was a kid. I'm not wasting my Saturday, too. Okay, honey, I understand. I'm not going either. We left it at that. But last month, everything changed. I was having coffee with my sister Sarah when she dropped a bomb that made my lukewarm latte suddenly taste like battery acid. So I was cleaning out the storage unit, Sarah said, stirring her cappuccino. You know, the one with all Mom's old stuff? Yeah, what about it? I found something, a letter. Actually, a whole box of letters. From Dad? I felt my jaw tighten. Yeah, but Jake, they're not what you think. They're from the last 10 years of his life. He was writing to someone named Linda. Who's Linda? Sarah pulled out her phone and slid it across the table. That's what I wanted to know. So I did some digging. Look. The photo showed my dad, older, grayer, but definitely him, with his arm around a blonde woman at some beach resort. They were both smiling like they didn't have a care in the world. Okay, so he had a girlfriend. So what? Jake, Sarah's voice dropped. Look at the date stamp. This was taken 6 months after he disappeared. My stomach dropped. What? It gets worse. I found their marriage certificate. They got married a year after he left us. And Jake, they had kids. He had a whole other family while we were struggling. You're telling me he didn't disappear, he just left us for someone else? That's exactly what I'm telling you. And there's more. I hired a private investigator, the house he bought with Linda, the one they raised their kids in. He bought it with money from Mom's parents. Remember Grandma's inheritance that was supposed to come to Mom but somehow got lost in probate? I felt heat rising in my chest. He stole from his own wife? Apparently Linda knew everything. She was his accountant. She helped him hide the assets, transfer everything before he left. Mom never knew. She spent 20 years barely scraping by while he was living in a McMansion in Arizona. Does Mom know about this? Sarah shook her head. Not yet. I wanted to talk to you first. Jake, there's something else. When Dad died, everything went to Linda and their kids, but legally he was still married to Mom. He never actually filed for divorce, which means Mom was entitled to everything. Exactly. And Linda knew it. She forged documents, claimed they were legally married. The estate went through probate without anyone questioning it. She got everything, and we got nothing, not even a notification. I sat back processing. Where is this Linda now? Still in Arizona, still living in that house, still spending money that belonged to our family. Get me her address. Sarah looked at me carefully. Jake, what are you going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure she answers for what she did to Mom. To us. How? I don't know yet, but I'm not letting this go. This woman helped destroy our childhood, and she's still benefiting from it. That ends now. Sarah reached across the table and grabbed my hand. I'm with you, whatever you need. First thing we need is a lawyer, a good one. 2 days later, I was sitting in attorney Mike Chen's office downtown. Sarah had found him. Apparently, he specialized in estate fraud cases. So let me get this straight, Mike said, tapping his pen on the legal pad in front of him. Your father abandoned your family, stole your mother's inheritance, and his girlfriend helped him hide the assets. That's the short version, I said. Can we do anything about it? Maybe. But I need to see everything. Documents, letters, any proof of the asset transfer. Sarah pulled out a thick folder. We brought copies of everything we found. Mike spent the next 20 minutes reviewing documents, his expression growing more serious with each page. This is bad, he finally said. This is fraud. Definite fraud. The marriage certificate is forged. See this stamp? It's from the wrong county office. And these financial documents show clear intent to hide assets from your mother. So we can go after her, I asked. We can try. But Jake, this happened decades ago. Statute of limitations might be an issue. My heart sank. So we're too late? Not necessarily. Fraud claims can sometimes survive if the fraud was actively concealed. And the estate distribution was only 3 years ago. That's definitely actionable. What do we need to do? First, we need to talk to your mother. Get her official statement. Then we need to file a motion to reopen the estate. If we can prove Linda knowingly defrauded the rightful heir, We can get the assets redistributed. Plus, she might face criminal charges. That evening, Sarah and I sat down with our mom. She was in her kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd worked double shifts to keep us fed all those years ago. "Mom, we need to talk to you about Dad," I started. Her face closed off immediately. "Jake, I told you, that chapter is over." "Mom, just listen, please." Sarah jumped in. "We found something about why Dad left." For the next hour, we explained everything. Mom listened in silence, her face growing paler with each revelation. "He was married to someone else?" she finally whispered. "Not legally," I said. "He was still married to you. He never divorced you. Everything he did was illegal." "And this woman, Linda, she knew about us?" "She knew everything. She helped him steal from you." Mom stood up and walked to the window, staring out at nothing. All those years, I thought maybe it was my fault, that I wasn't enough, that I did something wrong. "Mom, no! But he was just a thief, a liar and a thief, and she helped him." Sarah went to her side. "We can make this right, Mom. We can go after her legally, make her pay back what she took." Mom turned around and I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Steal. "Not just pay it back," she said quietly. "I want her to face consequences, real consequences, for what she did to my children, for what she did to our lives." "We're going to need you to file a formal complaint," I said. "Work with Mike to build the case." "When do we start?" "Tomorrow." Mike moved fast. Within 2 weeks, we had filed a motion to reopen Dad's estate and a separate civil suit against Linda for fraud. But I wanted more than just legal papers. I wanted her to know we were coming. I called the number Sarah had found. A woman answered. "Hello? Is this Linda Prescott?" "Yes, who's this?" "This is Jake Morrison, David Morrison's son, from his first family." Long silence. Then, "I don't know what you're talking about." "Really, because I have about 100 love letters my dad wrote you. Letters where you two discussed hiding assets from my mother. Your mother-in-law, by the way, since Dad never actually divorced her. You need to stop harassing me." "Oh, I'm not harassing you. I'm giving you a heads up. In about 3 days, you're going to be served with papers, fraud charges, estate redistribution, the whole thing. And Linda, my mom kept records. She has proof of every penny that was supposed to be hers. Every cent you spent on your happy little life, you're going to pay it all back. You can't do this. It's been too long." "Actually, we can. My lawyer says the statute of limitations doesn't start until the fraud is discovered. We discovered it 2 weeks ago. See you in court." I hung up before she could respond. Sarah looked at me. "Feel good?" "Not yet, but it's a start." The confrontation came faster than I expected. Linda showed up at my mom's house 3 days later, right after being served. I answered the door. "You must be Jake," she said. She was older than in the photos, with harsh lines around her mouth. "We need to talk. I don't think we have anything to say to each other. Please, just 5 minutes, I can explain everything." Mom appeared behind me. "Let her in, Jake. I want to hear what she has to say." We sat in the living room. Linda clutched her purse, sitting on the edge of the couch. "Look, I know how this looks." "You know how this looks?" Mom interrupted. "You helped my husband steal from his children." "I didn't. It wasn't like that. David told me you two were separated, that the marriage was over." "But you knew he never filed for divorce," I said. "The letters prove it." Linda's face flushed. "That's not, yes, but what?" Sarah demanded. "But you didn't think his real family deserved to know he was still alive? David said he told you he was leaving." "He left a note," Mom said, her voice ice cold. "It said he needed space, that he'd be in touch. He never was." "I didn't know that. David told me you agreed to separate." "Did you also not know that the money for your house belonged to my mother?" Mom asked. "That David transferred it illegally?" Linda went pale. "The house money. David said it was from his business." "You were his accountant," Sarah said. "Don't insult us by pretending you didn't know." Okay, I knew some of it came from your family, but David said it was legally his." "He wasn't," I said flatly. "And you helped him steal it." "I loved him. I know that doesn't excuse anything, but I loved him." "Including destroying his children's lives?" Mom asked. I didn't think about." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" I stood up. "My mom worked herself to exhaustion for 20 years because of what you did. Sarah and I went to bed hungry some nights because you and Dad were living it up in Arizona. And now you're sorry? Please. I didn't know it was that bad." "You didn't want to know," Sarah cut in. "I'll pay you back. Whatever you want, I'll pay it." "Oh, you'll pay it back," I said. "But not because you want to, Because a court is going to order you to, and then you're going to face criminal fraud charges. Linda's tears stopped. Her face hardened. Criminal charges? You can't prove I knew anything illegal was happening. Actually, we can, Mike said from the doorway. You signed financial documents. You filed the forged marriage certificate. You claimed spousal benefits when you knew there was a legal spouse still alive. That's fraud. Multiple counts. Linda stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. You're just trying to shake me down for money. Shake you down? Mom stood too. You lived in comfort while my children suffered. You took what belonged to them. And now you have the nerve to play victim? I'm not playing anything. You made the choice to help him, I said. You made the choice to keep quiet. These are just consequences. You're going to regret this, Linda hissed. All of you. I'll fight this with everything I have. I'll drag your mother's name through the mud. Is that a threat? Mike asked calmly, his phone recording. Linda's face went white. No, that's not. I think you should leave, Mike said, before you make things worse for yourself. Linda grabbed her purse and slammed out. Through the window, I watched her hands shake so badly she dropped her keys twice. Mike closed his recording app. She essentially admitted knowledge of the asset transfer, and she threatened you all on tape. What happens now? I asked. Now? Now we go to war. 3 months later, we sat in the courtroom for the final hearing. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, reviewed the evidence. Miss Prescott, she finally said, looking at Linda, did you or did you not know that Mr. Morrison was legally married at the time you filed a spousal claim on his estate? Linda's lawyer whispered to her, but she shook her head. I believed we were legally married. That's not what I asked. Did you know he had a legal wife? Silence. Miss Prescott, answer the question. Yes, Linda whispered. I knew. And did you knowingly file fraudulent documents claiming legal marriage in order to access his estate? My client invokes her Fifth Amendment right, her lawyer began. Too late for that, the judge said. She already answered. This court finds clear and convincing evidence of fraud. I'm ordering the estate reopened and redistributed. Mrs. Carol Morrison, as the legal spouse, is entitled to 50% of all assets. The remaining 50% goes to all children, including Mr. Morrison's children from his legal marriage. Your Honor, we'd like to request, Linda's lawyer tried. I'm not finished. I'm also referring this case to the district attorney for possible criminal prosecution. Miss Prescott, you have 60 days to liquidate assets and make payment. Failure to comply will result in asset seizure and contempt charges. The gavel came down. Outside, Mom was crying good tears. 24 years of wondering what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, Mom, Sarah said, hugging her. Mike shook my hand. Based on current asset values, your mom will probably get close to $400,000. A week later, Linda called me. What do you want? I asked. I want to apologize, really apologize, and explain to your mom, face to face, no lawyers. Linda, I don't think, please, Jake. I'll sell the house. I'll pay everything. I just need her to know that I'm sorry. I was quiet. Fine. Come by tomorrow at 2. When Linda showed up, Mom, Sarah, and I were waiting. Linda looked defeated. I'm sorry. For everything. I know I can't make it right, but I need you to know. Stop, Mom said quietly. Linda went silent. I don't want your apology, Mom continued. I don't want your explanations or your regrets. I want you to sell that house, pay what you owe, and live the rest of your life knowing what you did. But I need you to understand. I understand perfectly. You fell in love with a married man and helped him destroy his family. You lived well while his children suffered. And when you had the chance to make it right, you threatened us instead. I was scared. I don't care. Jake, Sarah, show her out. Please, I just need... You heard my mom, I said. Leave. And Linda, don't contact us again, ever. Your apologies mean nothing. Your regrets change nothing. Live with it. Linda left without another word. Sarah poured 3 glasses of wine after she was gone. Do you think she really was sorry? Sarah asked. Maybe, I said, but it doesn't matter. Jake's right, Mom said. Sorry doesn't give us those years back. Some things you can't apologize away. To justice, I said, raising my glass. To justice, they echoed. The money came through 6 weeks later. Mom retired from her second job. Sarah went back to school. And me? I sleep better at night knowing that sometimes the people who hurt you actually face consequences. Not every wrong gets made right, but this one did. So here's my question for you. Have you ever discovered a betrayal that changed everything you thought you knew? What did you do about it? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Sometimes revenge really is a dish best served through the legal system.